first time seemed to be happening again.
Call this meeting to order. And just a reminder to all of you that the mission statement for Santa Barbara City College, as a public community college, we are dedicated to the success of each student. Santa Barbara City College provides students a diverse learning environment that inspires curiosity and discovery, promotes global responsibility, and fosters opportunity for all. Now this meeting is called to order. And according to the roll call, we are missing one board member, and Veronica Gallardo, and everyone else is here. Okay. You are all welcome. We're delighted to have you here, and appreciate the time that you are taking. We are also delighted with those of you we will get to congratulate today. Now, we have some items that will be taken out of order. Dr. Gaskin?
Yes, thank you. And the first is our annual recognition of our faculty lecturer. And I would like to read to you this certificate of recognition as I ask Sonia Zuniga Lomeli to please come up. And as many of you know from attending Sonia's lecture, she gave just a wonderful journey through linguistics and the changes and transformation of language, particularly as it relates to the Spanish language. And it was both a walk through history and a walk through cultural transformation, and also a glimpse into Sonia's wonderful teaching. So the Board of Trustees of the Santa Barbara Community College District awards this certificate of recognition to Dr. Sonia Zuniga Lomeli in recognition of election by peers at Santa Barbara City College as the faculty lecturer for 2014-15. Appreciation is expressed for enriching the lives of past, present, and future generations of students, as well as the lecturer's years of dedicated service to SBCC and the community to which it belongs. And what's perhaps most notable is that this honor and recognition comes from colleagues, and it's colleague to colleague. So truly, for this year, Dr. Lomeli is first among equals with regard to her teaching and what she contributes to Santa Barbara City College. So it's an honor for me to present Sonia with the plaque and with a monetary honorarium.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it won't be like the last time I was here. I just want to thank everyone that was able to make it to my talk. And I hope that those of you who didn't make it next year, because this is all about Santa Barbara City College and what we do here. And just have a great summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lomeli. That was a wonderful talk. All right. Next on the items to be taken out of order, we have the outstanding classified employee and honorable mention classified employees. Liz?
Always a wonderful opportunity to ask Liz Auchincloss to please come up and provide our annual recognition of just our truly outstanding classified staff. Liz.
It's my honor to announce the awards. The selections were made by a committee of classified staff, their peers, and I'll start by reading the honorable mentions and kind of work my way. Okay. The first honorable mention works in the duplicating department. He was the collective vote for the award from the Center for Lifelong Learning staff. In their words, We have had an ongoing need for timely, professionally produced, and imaginatively suggested marketing and promotional pieces crucial to achieving what we would normally have to pay to outsource. He is always there for us with a ready and, in fact, eager personality which defies the high-pressure requirements not only of our division but of the entirety of SBCC. He has not missed a single deadline this past year. This department makes us all look good as we take the credit for an outstanding job well done, and yet he is the person behind the scenes who grinds it out day after day, often without acknowledgement or due praise. It's time to recognize this. Please recognize Dan Yanez as an honorable mention. The next honorable mention works in the marketing department as a marketing communications specialist. She demonstrates outstanding service to the college. Every day she brings a positive attitude and a zeal to tackle her ever-growing project list. She is amazingly creative. When she is faced with a new challenge, she approaches it as a true professional. After being briefed, she asks lots of questions, completes her research, and then sits down to a very, very white computer screen to start her work from scratch. Her work is excellent and effective, but it just doesn't have to look good. Most projects require the design to work and convey a message in getting someone to take action. She has brought fresh energy to the college's branding and likes taking risks and pushing the envelope. With an ever-growing project list requiring complexity of design and communication, she is regularly under a lot of pressure and tight deadlines, but still remembers to laugh. She has been serving on the board of the American Institute of Graphic Arts, leading the membership team. This week, she's attending the Community College Public Relations Organization Convention, where SBC has entered 9 exhibits and is up for 9 awards. So unfortunately, she's not here. But please join me in recognizing Melanie Bellinger as an honorable mention, and Karen will come and pick up her award. Karen is her supervisor. The next honorable mention works as a wellness program nurse in student health services. She's a core member of the health services team as she inspires all with her confidence, kindness, and humor. College health nursing is a specialized practice with strong roots in public health. A college nurse looks at the whole student and addresses their wellness needs in a holistic manner. She has all the qualities of an excellent college nurse, and with her deep common sense, superior nursing skills, and genuine humanity, she has become a compassionate source of help and caring to countless students. She is dedicated to providing a high standard of care, and she delivers that care every day without fail. She is an everyday heroine, working quietly and enthusiastically and making a positive difference in students' lives every day. A true team player, she cares about the big picture that encompasses the student, the college, and the Santa Barbara community. Her positive attitude and investment in the success of both our students and her fellow staff members influences everyone she comes into contact with on the SBCC campus. An excellent employee is an employee who not only does her job well, but also exerts an inspirational influence on those working around her. She is an employee like this. Please recognize Patty Schuster as an honorable mention.
want to say all those words are lovely. I just feel them in my heart, and it's a wonderful honor. Thank you so much.
The last honorable mention works as an administrative assistant for educational programs. She has served with 6 deans and has an outstanding knowledge of most departments and faculty on campus. She helped to develop the Faculty Flex system and is currently working with the Faculty Resource Center and others to update the new Flex system. She is always available to faculty when a Flex question arises and is willing to help them when needed, providing excellent customer service. She graduated from SBCC with both an AA and an AS degree. She has achieved all of her 8 professional growth increments. She did this by attending classes, workshops, conferences, seminars, and serving on several committees, including the College Planning Council, the Classified Consultation Group, and the Program Evaluation Committee. She has polished her skills as an administrative assistant and is always striving to better herself and the lives of others. She's always willing to help others and often asks if there's anything she can do to help. She is an asset to SBCC. Her ongoing personality and friendliness is welcome to all those who meet her. Please recognize Joyce McFeeder as a 2015 honorable mention. Okay. The 2015 Outstanding Classified Employee of the Year works as an administrative assistant in the Community Services Department. In this role, he works with the college and the local community in providing room scheduling and coordination for various outreach and community events, including lectures, business services, group meetings, or special and athletic events. He is the kindest worker ever. If I were to call the college and work with him on something, I would end my day as a happier person. He has skills in making everyone smile, and they feel that their needs were met. He is overall a positive and kind presence who encourages the pay-it-forward way of life. He serves his department with unending support and excellent customer service in and outside the college. He does not expect a return of any kind in helping out his fellow co-workers and reminds us all that life is good. It's so wonderful to have that reminder amidst oftentimes difficult people. He volunteers on the All-Campus Day Kickoff Committee and the Community Service Events Committee. He volunteers for other college functions, all of which set the tone for the school spirit. He is a volunteer DJ for the KSBY radio station at UCSB. He has an early morning shift on Tuesdays before work hours. He does this work for the love of music and his sharing finds of small grassroots and globally talented bands. He has also included another co-worker to do surf reports and play music in consideration for his listeners and supporters. He is also an incredible artist with a BA in studio art. In recent years, he has taken over the organizing of the bowling league, of the SBC Bowling League, which has brought together a variety of employees and a team spirit feeling. We find ourselves laughing and befriending individuals we otherwise would not. Working relationships can be stressful at work, but with the league, these stresses can become lessened because of the team camaraderie. Bowling has served as a great icebreaker and a fun, work-friendly event. He really is the leader of the whole league, which keeps the entire thing going. A few years ago, he was transferred to our department from the Wake Center. Since he joined our department, he has brought a sense of unity to our business services division, which has gone through many changes and stresses. We are forever grateful for his friendship, service, and support to the department and to his outstanding attitude towards work and fellow coworkers. Please recognize Jesse Valentine Felix as the 2015 Outstanding Classified Employee of the Year.
Well, I can't say that I'll be as, as succinct as my bowling emails, but no, honestly, it's a pleasure to be here. It's even more of a pleasure to be recognized. I'm so thankful to come to work every day, to get a chance to be working with all you individuals. That's the praise that I need in general, but to have been recognized in this manner is beyond my expectations and beyond my hopes. Honestly, what I do is I give my love forward. I love to serve, I love to give, and that is what Santa Barbara City College needs works out very well for me as well. Thank you very much.
And that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. That's always exciting, and congratulations to all of you. Now, this is the ordinary time for the hearing of the citizens. However,
We have one more
Oh,
out
I'm
of order.
sorry.
Yes. We have the sabbatical report by
Oh, great.
Sherry Shields,
Good.
which is always wonderful. This is our last sabbatical report for this academic year, and I welcome Sherry from the nursing program, the
Sorry,
nursing
Sherry, that's-
department, to provide us a glimpse of her project.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk about my very exciting project. I definitely want to thank you for this time and also for the support of this program. This is all about student success, and it's focusing on the RN program and their licensing exam. So many of you know me. I've taught for the ADN program since 1992. And from 2008 to 2012, I was the director of the program and carried out a very big curriculum redesign. And during that time, I actually found that I have a passion for curriculum development and improvement and a love for improving our outcomes. And so that's kind of where this project came from. First of all, our students, once they graduate, they then have to go on and get a license. And the license that they have to get is a national exam they take, and it's administered through the National Council of State Boards of Nursing. And it is, the nickname is NCLEX. So it's the National Licensure Exam for Registered Nurses, and we call it NCLEX in the biz. So what's really important about this clearly is your students graduate, and this licensing exam is clearly very important to them. After spending many years and then a couple years with us in the program, they definitely want to pass this exam, and so do we. Because this exam not only reflects their accomplishments, but it also provides a high standard of nursing care. And what I mean by that is it's not just a test, it really does reflect current practice in nursing. One of the ways they develop the NCLEX is they actually send out surveys and observers to watch nurses that have been nurses for 6 months, and they basically write down everything they do. And so they write down everything they do, and then they come back together and they collate this information, and then that's how they decide what's going to be on the test. So why this is important is it reflects current practice as it's provided today, here and now. They do this every 3 years, it's updated. And so it definitely reflects the nursing care in this current healthcare realm, if you will. And what's also important about that is the test actually gets harder because it reflects today's practice. And as you know, healthcare gets more technically advanced every day. Our patients get sicker. I'm not telling you all anything you don't know, but it definitely, it does get more difficult because it's reflecting practice here and now. And so it's very important to high standard of nursing care and to the students to be good practitioners, but it also correlates with nursing program quality. So clearly, the outcomes on our NCLEX definitely give us an idea of how we stand up. It's important for accreditation. It's important as students are looking for which program they want to go to. They're looking at pass rates. In 2008, our pass rate was about 86%, which is well above national average. It bounces around. In 2013, our pass rate was 97%. This does bounce around, so just to let you know. However, it definitely shows, you know, what we're doing and what we can do better. So one of the things that I like to do better is to help my students prepare for this NCLEX. Not just classes, but also I've historically given informal workshops on test-taking skills and content reviews so that they are ready to take the test. Well, that being said, for years they've said, Sherry, we really need this from the very beginning. We need you to do this every semester for us. I'm like, oh, well, I could write 4 classes, but when would I have the time? So thus, the perfect timing of the sabbatical leave. It was just, for me personally and for this professionally, it was awesome. So what I did is I looked at the research for NCLEX success, and I found obviously some common threads, things that you see up there that are things that you know about. One of them was a student success course, so good, I'm going to write 4 of them. The other thing was practice question taking. Any licensing exam, one of the things you do before you take it is you need to practice taking questions, and so that's what has been embedded in this class as well. Counseling, success specialists, rigorous curriculum was a thread there, and so one of the things I also did was created a faculty toolbox for our faculty. And then, of course, critical thinking development. So the 4 classes I developed, 1 for each semester of the program. They're with us for 4 semesters. And so it's individualized to that semester to help them understand what's different about nursing exams and what's different about your prerequisite exams. And one of the things that I did in this course is I included resources that they already had, but they were unable to tap because they didn't have the time or they didn't know what was out there. So I spend a great deal during this class showing them the resources we have and how to use them better. So we're going to save time. It's going to improve their grades overall, their success, and of course their satisfaction, and NCLEX pass rates. Then the other thing I do in class is we practice taking questions. And then, as I said, I developed a kind of a second part of the program was developing a faculty toolbox, which helped faculty write more rigorous questions, so they're practicing them throughout, and help them bring more active learning to the classroom, how to do a case scenario in class and that type of thing, and that's been presented to our faculty. So, as I said, this has been weaved into 4 classes. They take 1 each semester. Each semester it's focused on a specialty, if you will, of success. In the beginning, the first semester, time management, basic exam taking, the multiple choice question. Semester 2, they review and how they remediate, how they get more out. Once they've taken a test, what can I do to learn more from that test? Semester 3, it's more clinical reasoning. And then the 4th semester, just content review, preparing them to take the licensing exam. So we do this every week, and part of the class is presenting one of those topics, and then part of the class is practice question with the clickers. They love it. And so I've just brought one of my questions to you today. A nurse notes that a patient has dyspnea and red blotches on their face and arms and is very anxious following exposure to latex. The nurse calls for a rapid response. Which action would be the priority of the responding nurse? And then we read the questions, and then they click. And then I show what the answers were. Sometimes they get 100% because they're my students. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes they don't, and then it helps me drive the discussion on what I need to cover. And then we talk about what the right answer is and what the rationale is for that. So not only are they practicing test-taking techniques, but then they're also, we might talk about epinephrine and what that's used for. So these 4 classes have started this semester. They're going very well. I have included a quote directly from an email I got from one of the students. The student I'll let you read it, but basically she was writing me to tell me how much she was enjoying the class. And what I liked was the second part. She said, I'm a semester 2 student and I am a busy mother with 3 kids. I also work part-time when I can. I value my time as I have many responsibilities. Your class is well worth the time and effort required by me. I believe in the long term, the time invested will save time and trouble struggling with ineffective study strategies. So I'm just pleased to share a little glimpse of what I did on my sabbatical. I created these 4 classes, and to let you know they're going well, and we're aiming for 100% pass rate.
Thank you very much.
So again, thank you for the support of the sabbatical, and any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
When you were talking about providing practice questions, my sense is that these are questions from the teacher to the student about the nature of the problem to be solved. Is there any training in your program about communication with the patient?
Oh, absolutely. We have communication questions as well. So I have questions that cover almost every topic that we talk about, every content topic. So yes, we definitely therapeutic communication. I actually can write questions that help purvey that information and make sure that I'm assessing their knowledge. And one of the things with communication questions that they like to practice, it's hard to write on a paper what is done at the bedside. And so they need to learn not only to do it, but what it would look like when we write it down and how we write it down. So absolutely.
Well, from recent experience at Cottage Hospital, I can tell you that Santa Barbara City College students just do so well. I am so impressed with their thoroughness and their capacity to communicate with the patient as if they're an adult, they're meaningful human beings. I am in awe of your program.
Thank you. I agree. Our students are very motivated and just very special people. So thank you for that. Any other questions or? All right, thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're part of a remarkable department. Thank you very much. Now, ordinarily, we would have a hearing of citizens right now. However, all of the slips that I have refer to a particular discussion, and so I'm going to wait, if you can wait, until we get to that item, if that is all right. All right? The board seems to agree with me, so we will go ahead. Very good. Then we are now at the point where we are going to have the communications reports. Dr. Gaskin?
We have, first up, our Academic Senate President. She, however, is attending a very important training relative to our student equity efforts, and so she apologizes to the board for not being here to make the report.
All right, thank you. And then Colette? Colette will be giving the report for the Associated Students. Colette.
Hello, board members and Dr. Gaskin. So a few things. First, we have General Assembly next weekend. So a majority of our Senate members, all of us, we will be going down south and we will spend the weekend doing different leadership workshops with students from the SSCCC to expand kind of our leadership skills, not only in how we are leading our colleges, but also kind of taking it outside of the classroom and outside of those meetings. And we'll be going through the resolutions that all of the colleges have put forth. Today we had coffee with the senators, which is basically we go out and we offer a free cup of coffee to anyone who's willing to sit down and talk to us about what they like about the campus, what they wish could be changed about the campus. So I myself was not able to attend, but a lot of the senators just got a lot of really good feedback from the students about what they want to see on this campus. Last week during our meeting, we had Doss Williams come, who's been working very closely with Ethan Bertrand for AB3 letter of support, which one of our ad hocs has been working on. So that was really cool to have Doss come and talk to us and kind of connect with students on a more personal level. I think having him present to the 18 of us and we could ask questions about it and really understand his position. And then we closed out our elections, and so I am going to be announcing all of the positions for next year. We have one senator at large currently, which is Ethan Bertrand. We have the public relations officer, Isabella Derschlag, the commissioner of clubs, Lexi Vallis, student advocate, Maggie Cabrera, student trustee, Tyler Gibson, vice president, operations and finance, Yehoon Choi, vice president, external affairs, Brianna Siguenza, Vice President, Senate Affairs, Joshua Villanueva, and the President, Isaac Eves. So I was very excited to announce that. And then the last thing that we have been working on that, in my opinion, is the most important thing that we've worked on, not only this semester, but all year, is a grove, a memorial grove for the victims of the Isla Vista tragedy last year. And so we have chosen to plant 6 trees, one in honor of each victim, in a grove where when you enter West Campus, on the left side, there is a large space of land that we are going to be planting 6 trees. We'll be planting red buds, which they're beautiful flowering trees that lose their flowers and then rebloom every year, kind of as a transformation and a regrowth. They will last a very long time, and we'll be having a dedication service. With the date forthcoming, by tomorrow we will know when that is. And the goals of this is basically just a way for the student body to honor and remember the victims. It's a way for our current students to bring all of the students who are previous students of City College, who are future students, to have somewhere to go and to reflect not only about the tragic events that happened, but just to offer a place of reflection and memoriam for all of the students. So, are there any questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Liz does not have a report. She's already done it. So,
The most
Dr. Gaskin.
important.
Yeah, Dr. Gaskin.
Well, thank you. This is always a wonderful board meeting to be able to recognize our classified staff and our faculty lecturer. It just signifies the absolute high quality and high caliber of our faculty, staff, and administration. It's pretty remarkable, and you see that, and particularly as well with Sherry giving a sense of her sabbatical report. You should just feel so proud and so pleased. I have a number of things I wanted to update you on. So in no particular order, I wanted to share the outcome of our International Education Committee's selection of our study abroad programs for 16-17. It gives a rich sense of the commitment we have to part of our mission, which states global responsibility. So in 16-17, in summer of 16, we have Earth Sciences and Sociology in Costa Rica, film production in Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, culinary arts in Spain, and art history in Paris. In the fall semester, we have marine biology, comparative cultures, and tribal arts in Bali. Spring semester, we have film studies, art history, and languages in Italy and France. And then the spring break, that 1-week break, we have social science in Washington, D.C. Really, really robust study abroad program. So kudos to all involved, particularly our faculty directors who envisioned this and are actualizing on it. A couple of other things. We're in the midst of an executive vice president search, and our consultant, Eva Conrad, has been working diligently to both get the word out as well as to recruit possibly successful candidates. And we have received a large number of applications, and the deadline hasn't even occurred. That soft deadline, soft closing, is April 30th, and it is open until filled. However, that will be the first review of the applications by the committee. So we are on track for final interviews in June, presentation to the board for action at your June 25th meeting. So that's going very well. I wanted to share what's happening in all of our work in Isla Vista. You heard about the Memorial Grove that the Student Senate is leading, and that's really quite an important effort that we make on this 1 year, I don't want to say anniversary, 1 year transpiring of the time period when that tragedy occurred. But certainly our involvement in Isla Vista is much broader, and I wanted to share with you what we're doing. Through the efforts of Allison Curtis, we are conducting a series of facilitated focused groups to understand what our student needs are out in Isla Vista. I keep hearing that you should do X, Y, and Z because UCSB is doing X, Y, and Z. And I had to pause at one point and just say, we need to understand our students' needs. And so Allison is leading that effort to get a sense directly from our students who live in Isla Vista, what it is about Isla Vista that is both compelling as well as a challenge, and how we can intervene. So that's one of the first things. We did have our legal counsel draft a lease addendum for landlords who rent to Santa Barbara City College students, and we are providing that. Joe Sullivan had a very large work group of Isla Vista landlords and other interested parties, and that is being adopted by those landlords who seek to help us implement the Student Code of Conduct and to make us aware of when those Student Code of Conduct has been violated. We have extended course offering, particularly our College Success course into Isla Vista, beginning in the fall semester. We are extending academic counseling into Isla Vista, beginning in the fall semester. And we are extending this concept of a mobile librarian into Isla Vista for our students, beginning in fall semester. These are all very, very positive things because it communicates to our students that this is all about, or very much about, academic pursuit and academic goals and pursuing one's academic goals. So that's what we're trying to focus on. In addition, we have a peer-based organization here on campus that is led by Ben Murphy, who focuses on social issues with our students, and in particular, helping our students to understand the issues around excessive alcohol, drug abuse, sexual assault, being able to stand up to peer pressure, and the like. So his students have produced a set of videos which are online, and they speak directly to our students. So this is all part of reinventing what Isla Vista is. And part of that is the effort I serve on with Isla Vista Safe and all of the policymakers. We have been working for the last year to change the culture and rebrand Isla Vista. And so all of us have made a monetary commitment in addition to our time to ensure that that branding and marketing continues. And what you see coming out of the special events of Halloween and Deltopia reflect the very focused marketing and branding that we are doing collectively. So that is ongoing. Separately, I wanted to share with you that Craig Price and I are very involved in the interest from the communities, particular community members, particular developers in town for student housing. And while we're not at a stage that we can bring any project, even in its remote sense of a concept, to the board, we have been approached by a number of potential developers for both on-site and off-site student housing development. And we're in the early stages of unpacking all of that and then trying to understand what is in the best interest of SBCC. So as we get through all of this, I will bring much more solid ideas and proposals to you, but right now it's in exploratory and investigative stages. And I wanted to share with you, and this has bearing on what is happening with the board agenda item tonight, that the Fund for Santa Barbara has approached key stakeholders relative to the Isla Vista governance issue and has sought to be the conveyor of bringing these groups together with the idea of a study to understand both the feasibility and economic framework for the proposals on the table. And so I'll read to you that this is just the very broadest scope of this study, but the purpose of the proposed study, again, to be undertaken by the Fund for Santa Barbara, is to provide a financial feasibility analysis of a potential CSD and potential incorporation of Isla Vista as a city. The study will contribute to the debate and discussion regarding CSD and cityhood, pros and cons. I have committed the institution to provide resources toward that study, as has UCSB, Doreen Farr's office, the UCSB Associated Students, Doss Williams' office, a particular business owner, and other organizations. So I share that with you to inform your discussion tonight. And that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Gaskin. Now, before we talk about item 7.2.
Are there any reports of members?
Oh, yeah, you may have some before we go into that. Yes, sorry. Nick, you look like you did.
I could just elaborate on the General Assembly if that's appropriate.
Yes, please.
Basically, each semester, the Student Senate for California Community Colleges, which is the SSCCC that Colette referred to, it's the state representation organization for the students across the state, all, as of right now, about 2.1 million students across the state, 112 community colleges. At the General Assembly is where all of our resolutions and policies are approved by delegates of all of these constituents. Typically, it's a three-day event. The first day is the leadership training and different breakout sessions offered as to how to be an effective senator, how to run effective business meetings, Robert's Rules of Order, all the things that we have come to love as a board ourselves. The second and third day are when we vote on our resolutions and actually have special interest group meetings amongst some of the special interest groups, Latino, women's. We also have Veterans Caucus. We have a bunch of different caucuses that provide input and that are recognized by the state level. And I might say that the SSCCC is recognized by the Board of Governors as the student representation for the state. So in this General Assembly, we will be attempting to incorporate and get the students across the state on board with a 501c3 standing, which would allow us to pull funding out of the AB 1358 fund that is being held through the Board of Governors right now in our name. Until we get enough members of the state on board with incorporating, we cannot touch those funds, which is kind of putting us in a situation where we have our hands tied behind our back. We want to provide a great amount of statewide support for all of our students. However, we don't have the funding to do so until we are able to do this. So it's a very exciting time as far as what I'm witnessing, a group of students basically creating a nonprofit organization for the benefit of other students. And it's something that I hope I can leave a part of myself in as far as a legacy that I leave. But also I'm very excited for the 2.1 million students that can benefit from this. So I just wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit more on what the SSCCC does and why it's so important that we are at the table in this process. So
Thank you very much. And thank you for representing us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Are there other trustees with committee reports? Craig?
The Facilities Committee met last Monday, the 20th, I think it was, and Marty was there, and Veronica attended, and we Nothing too earth-shaking happened, but we did, there's 2 notices of completion that you're going to be presented with later today, and that's kind of run-of-the-mill. It means that, hey, it's done, and we're formally filing it. And there was a change order. There were change orders on both of those notices of completion. One was pretty normal. That was just regarding the temporary buildings, and they ran into something unusual, and they had to spend a little more money. And then there was a change order on the wireless locks. Not so much to change the locks, but they had planned to sell excess equipment after we completed the install. And it was pointed out to us that they had a use for that equipment, and the price was going up rapidly, and we would be financially better off to keep those parts in inventory. So that's what the change order's about. Then there were a couple of bids. One was for the 3rd floor of the IDC building, which is basically carpet, paint, window coverings, the offices. So it's a big deal to them, but it needs to be done. And the bid, you know, it's kind of odd. There was only one bidder, really, I think, on that one, but it came in really good. So they had done the rest of the work already, so they kind of beat everybody out. And then we had the physical science building that we need to modernize for handicapped, and it involves a new hood for the science lab, some things like that. Sorry it takes so long to explain it, but pretty run-of-the-mill, but still interesting and needs to be attended to. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a fiscal report. Marcia?
Just briefly, the fiscal committee met. We had an updated spreadsheet on our cost of programs by department, which provided some additional information and looked at it a little differently from the previous month. And we also had projections of our revenue for the next budget. We're optimistic about that for next year, but we will know more both by virtue of hearing the governor's May revise in about mid-May, and also when we get to the expenditure part, which we have not yet addressed in the committee. So,
Thank you. Peter, do you have a report for the policy committee? From the policy committee?
Yes, no.
No.
Yes,
We
sir.
will be meeting soon, I know that.
We will be meeting soon.
All right.
And the focus of this next meeting will be on the concept of scheduling, and we welcome input.
Thank you. Are there any other reports before we move on? All right, then. Now, I have a great many requests to speak here, and we may have some more. And I would like to ask that, yes, Lori,
I'm sorry, we
please.
have a resolution before this, which is well,
Yes.
we need to finish the reports.
Right, we want to
Okay.
do that. That's what I was going to
5.2.
say.
Okay,
but,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm sorry to keep all of you, because I know there are a lot of you here to talk about this, but we do have our regular business meeting tonight. And so we are going to try to get through most of that agenda before we start this discussion, given the very large pile that I have of people who are going to speak. Therefore, how about item 7 first?
No, 5.2.
5.2.
5.2. Oh, yeah. I have that under you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I am speaking for Robert Else. He is actually at an ACCJC workshop. I wanted to give you an update on our fall 2015 accreditation visit and self-evaluation. Something happened quite monumental about a week and a half ago, and that is that the draft self-evaluation document was released to the campus, and College Planning Council held its first reading this past Tuesday. It is a document about 400 pages, comprised of 4 sections that speak to our assessment as to if we believe we're meeting the accreditation standards and the degree to which we are meeting them. So Standard 1 deals with institutional mission and effectiveness. Standard 2 is student learning programs and services. Standard 3 are resources, technology, physical, fiscal, and human, sorry. And standard 4 is leadership and governance. And that draft is out. You all received it. But specifically, the College Planning Council will take action on May 5th at their second reading. It will then come to the board for first reading on May 21, and for second reading and action June 11th. And then it goes into production and is provided to the accrediting team. Our visit is starting September 28th through that week, through Thursday of that week. And our chair has been named. It is Dr. Joan Smith, and she is Chancellor of the Yosemite Community College District. So any questions on accreditation? We have come an amazing way, and it's because of all the people in this institution who have done this. This is really a grassroots effort. Questions? Okay.
Thank you. And then I believe we have a resolution on Employee Week, the Classified Employee Week. Do we wish to?
Absolutely. Always a wonderful agenda item to be able to present to you, and that's for the board's consideration to recognize and honor our classified staff by recognizing May 17th through 23rd as Classified Staff Employee Week. Every day we value our classified staff, but this gives us an opportunity to really say thank you to everyone who serves such a vital role at the college.
Thank you.
I was
Marcia?
going to say motion to approve the resolution.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor
Aye.
Resolution.
Yeah.
of the resolution? Yes.
Trustee Nielsen?
Aye.
Trustee Abud?
Yes. Aye.
Trustee Croninger?
Aye.
Trustee Hasland?
Aye.
Trustee Kugler?
Aye.
Trustee Bloom?
Aye.
Student Trustee Style?
Aye.
Thank you. It is passed. What is Lori doing up there?
On to number 7.
Yeah, I know. Lori, are you ready for the,
Yes, and I'm pulling up something, so if you would like to introduce the resolution, and I will leave it to you to introduce the next agenda item,
all right,
and I'm pulling up.
all right. The next agenda item then, assuming we're back on track here, is 7.2, which is support for Assembly Bill 3, the Isla Vista Community Services District. And we have a substantial number of speakers tonight, and I would like to ask that you please keep your comments short and directly to the point. Please do not go over 5 minutes each. And we will hear them in the order that we have them here. Mr. Eckert?
Thank you, President Kugler. Trustees.
Would you introduce yourself, Mr. Eckert? Okay,
My name is Charles Eckert,
thank you.
and I'm here today, so you know the flag I'm flying, representing the Santa Barbara Rental Property Association. Some of you may have heard of that. I'm here to respectfully tell you that it would be entirely inappropriate for you to support, endorse this legislation. As a matter of fact, I believe it would be inappropriate for you to oppose it at this point. Because I dare say you don't know hardly anything about it. And you're not the Lone Rangers there. Most of us don't either. Because if you were to ask Doss Williams, what are you here now, he would tell you it's still being written, and there are certain things that are going to go in it that haven't been decided yet. But it's a bad bill, and that's not just my idea. I have the privilege today of wearing a good government hat. The Santa Barbara Local Agency Formation Commission thinks it's a bad bill and has taken a position that it opposes the bill unless it's amended. But the Santa Barbara Local Agency Formation Commission is not the Lone Ranger either. There are 50 local agency formation commissions in the state of California, one for each county, If I said 50, I misspoke. There are 58 of them. And they have a statewide organization known as CalLAFCO. And CalLAFCO has taken a position, oppose unless amended. And why have they said oppose unless amended? Well, I'm not privy to any secret discussions that they've had, but sitting in at hearings and listening and paying attention and reading between the lines, it's very clear to me that the reason is, well, actually, it's stated in that CalLAFCO letter, a copy of which I gave to President Kugler, that this legislation seeks to bypass the Local Agency Formation Commission, which is the county body by statute given jurisdiction over whether or not districts are to be formed, detached, or changed. This is the commission before which proponents for a cityhood of Goleta took their proposition to have it vetted, to have it determined whether or not a city would be viable. This is the body that the city of Goleta took its proposal to absorb the Goleta West Sanitary District before, to see whether or not it was a viable thing to do. The Local Agency Formation Commission is the body that is not only authorized by statute to vet these proposals, but is equipped with staff and resources to carry out that vetting in cooperation with other governmental bodies, such as the County of Santa Barbara. This legislation that Assemblyman Williams has proposed totally bypasses, some would say subverts, the whole statutory scheme for vetting of proposals to see whether or not they make sense before they go forward. The legislation is known as the Cortez-Knox-Hertzberg Act, and it contains a comprehensive set of criteria and steps to be taken and a definite process to be followed to make sure that not only community service districts but other entities don't come into being or get disorganized or detached improvidently. The last thing anybody wants is a district that is created without adequate thought and adequate vetting that is thus doomed to failure. Well, that's about all I have to say to you at this point in time. And frankly, if I may, and I mean no disrespect to those who will get up and speak and tell you they think you should approve the bill, but I think really that's all that you really need to know to say we're not going to take any position on this bill. We don't know enough about it. What we do know about it is that two respected organizations have taken positions opposing the bill unless it's amended. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eckert. Pegeen? After Pegeen, Mr. Hood, Paul Hood.
Madam President, members of the board, thank you so much for this opportunity today.
Would you introduce yourself?
Yes, Pegeen Sutar. I am a 33-year resident of Isla Vista, a homeowner out there, and many of you may recognize me as the JSB front house manager. But what you may not know about me is I've been very active out in our community for the last 20 years, particularly in areas of community building and safety for Isla Vista. And it is my opinion that the public needs more information before any support can be made in favor of AB3. A fiscal analysis has not been formally started and will probably not be completed for several months after the funding is even found. We need to know what these services are going to cost for AB3. We need to know what the administration of these services is going to cost for AB3. We also are not totally sure of how much utility user tax can be collected in Isla Vista from our community at a 6% or even higher rate. I have attended probably more meetings of AB3 except for Darcel, and I tie with Jay Freeman, but I've really been paying attention. And I really appreciate all the work that everyone's been doing. I appreciate the students, both the City College students and the UCSB students, for their concern and their effort. It's been awesome to see that. But I am at this point not at all convinced that this bill is going to be the solution to the multitude of issues and challenges that face our community. If your board does feel that it is appropriate to take a position on this resolution, I would urge you to create some type of study group, really examine the bill and wait until it's been completely amended. We have not even come up with a board makeup yet. We have not come up with boundaries. I mean, we could be talking about Isla Vista proper, which is 15,000 people, or we could be talking about Isla Vista with UCSB, which is another 8,000 people around it. We could be talking about what's going to happen when the next 7,000 people that growth that's going to happen from UCSB. I mean, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. So hopefully a fiscal analysis can be done and completed, because that will be very important to whether this is a viable bill or not. And I just want to end with listening to you, President Gaskin, and everything that people are doing at City College. I really appreciate it. It's going to take all of us together, working together to try to figure out. I mean, it's an awesome community. I love it out there. Been there 33 years. I would not move. You cannot make me move. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in there for the long haul. And again, I really like to thank all the students, both UCSB and SBCC, for their efforts in helping with this. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Mr. Hood, Paul? And after him, I'm going to ask Jeff Morehouse to speak.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the Board of Trustees. Mr. Morehouse is one of my commissioners, so I hesitate to go before him, but I'll take the challenge and try and talk and not try and contradict anything he might say. Charles Eckert, I think, gave my speech about what LAFCO is. I'm the executive officer of LAFCO, Paul Hood, and we have had a series of commission meetings where we've discussed AB3 and had many students, property owners, and other related individuals talk to the commissioners. And it was a long hearing on April 2nd, and the motion was to oppose the bill unless amended. And the reason for that is, as Charles Eckert said, the Local Agency Formation Commission is established by state law through the Cortese-Knox-Hertzberg Act to approve the formation or deny the formation, if they're not feasible, of special districts of cities, annexations, spheres of influence, municipal service reviews. And this bill circumvents the LAFCO process. Also, the bill does not include anything of substance as far as funding for the Community Services District. It proposes a sales tax, a utility users tax, and a TOT, a transient occupancy tax, which are not the purview of community services districts. It's not even included in the bill at this point. Also, the bill does not talk about boundaries, and it does not talk about the board of directors, who's going to serve on the board. There's been a considerable amount of discussion about who should be on the board of directors. CSDs are registered voter districts, and that's the reason that LAFCO could not approve anything that's outside of the registered voters that serve on all of the CSDs in the state. So the bill would propose to include some additional individuals, and they have not been identified. There's been several studies about who should be serving on the board. So I think, in my honest opinion, that it's premature to take a position at all on the bill, particularly since there was discussion about some kind of a financial feasibility study that City College would participate with other stakeholders to fund a financial feasibility study on the CSD or on city and corporation, or some different options for governance in the community of Isla Vista. That study has not been completed, and I think it's premature, with all due respect, for the Board of Trustees to take a position on the bill at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Morehouse? And when you have finished, Mr. Bertrand is next. Ethan Bertrand?
So, Mr. Morehouse, are you going to talk about your time at City College?
He was a football player here. I remember coming to football games and watching him.
Yes.
Funny.
Thank you, Trustee Blum. Yes.
So you're one of our distinguished
I am
graduates?
alumni, ex-football
Great.
player from this fine institution. Yes. My mom was a 25-year employee amongst many of the different Hall of Fames that she's in. She's also was recently inducted into the California Community College Athletic Association Hall of Fame just this last year.
Congratulate her for us.
Yes. So fine career she had here, and I've certainly enjoyed my time at this great institution. It's great to see it flourishing still today. And who would have known that one day I'd be standing in front of you talking politics because I was a law and society major. So I think I might have had one of your classes, Professor Haslam.
I remember.
Oh, and it was a great class, by the way. I remember everything. Anyhow, I hold various positions. I'm here as an individual. I'm a commissioner for the Santa Barbara County LAFCO, but I'm not here as a spokesperson of it. I was called a few days ago and said that this was on the agenda and if I would come down by our current president to come down and make comments if necessary. I also serve on the board of directors of the local chapter, the Santa Barbara County chapter of the California Special District Association, and also serve I've served on a special district here in the county for nearly 20 years, and I'm also on the executive board of the California Association of Sanitation Agencies, statewide organization, and serving on state legislative committees of that capacity. It's through my special district association that I became a commissioner with LAFCO, and I have come to appreciate LAFCO because when I first became a commissioner of LAFCO, I was not a pro-LAFCO person. And because of what had transpired down in the Carpinteria area with the Rincon septic to sewer project and how it was flubbed up by LAFCO. But things have changed, and I think that we've got a better LAFCO today than we did years ago. And what I've come to appreciate is the process and learn the history of LAFCO and why it was formed. Well, it was formed by the state legislature because the state legislature didn't want to make decisions on how local government was formed. The real basis of why we have LAFCO. We don't want an assemblyman or a senator from Bakersfield or from Weed, California, or Shasta or anywhere else making decisions on how we locally form our government. And I think that's how this has kind of gotten off track. It's a very rare instance today, in today's environment, that state legislature would create a special district. And I believe that that's where it needs to get back on track to. It needs to get back on track to having local decisions by local agencies and through the LAFCO process come to a conclusion of whether or not we can create good governance in Isla Vista. I would like to get rid of the word self-governance. It seems self-serving. It doesn't seem to be. It's one of those, just one of those statements that I just don't quite understand. Self-governance. What we want and what's evident by listening to the people in Isla Vista is that they want good governance. And part of that starts with what kind of governance you can have. And once we decide on what type of good governance you can have, the most important question is you have to ask yourself, how am I going to pay for it? And that's where the fiscal study comes into play. This fiscal study, where we're at today with this bill, even though it's not complete, but where we're at today, the fiscal study should have been done by now, and it's not. We were told several months ago at LAFCO that the fiscal study was going to be underway shortly. And here we are several months down the road. It has not even started. New people are involved now, talking about funding, and that's great. So let's get it funded. Quite frankly, I think the state of California should be a partner in this, in funding the study through the UCSB. I believe that Santa Barbara City College should be a participant. You have 3,500 students out there. You're part of the solution. The county of Santa Barbara should be part of this discussion. And I understand right now that is that a warning or is that 5 minutes?
5 minutes, but I took
Okay, I'll conclude.
one of your minutes.
Before you go forward with this resolution, there's many problems in this resolution, and I would welcome the opportunity to sit down with a committee that you have to go over this resolution for the future and kind of point out some of the problems with it, particularly with the grand jury report from 2003. Grand juries are private. We don't know what discussion occurred in there. We know that there was no fiscal analysis done by the grand jury report, and I'd like to know how they come to that conclusion. It's a big question for me. But anyways, I'm here to answer questions. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Morehouse. Mr. Bertrand, and then after him, Jay Freeman.
Good afternoon, Dr. Gaskin and members of the board. Thank you for hearing me. My name is Ethan Bertrand. I'm a first-year student here at City College. I'm a political science major, and I sit on the Student Senate, not that I'm representing them today. But I'm a resident of Isla Vista. And for the past couple months, I've been sitting in on a lot of the discussions about Assembly Bill 3, participating as a stakeholder and hearing other stakeholders speak. And today I just really want to talk about that perspective of being a Santa Barbara City College student in Isla Vista in relation to this bill. The reason I moved to Isla Vista was because of the wonderful, vibrant community next to the beach with a large amount of young people, lots of things to do, lots of fun to be had. While all those things happen, and I'm very grateful for the time I've had and look forward to the time coming, there's been many tragic events over the past couple of years that continue to occur, and then there's also the really bad ones that we really hope won't. And Assembly Bill 3 could really work towards providing a safer and better living situation in Isla Vista. One of the concerns that is on the top of a lot of people's lists is public safety. And with Assembly Bill 3, we could really benefit from having additional law enforcement working to just really keep the crime down and just that additional presence to build with the community. The parking district proposed in AB 3 could really help with just bringing more order to the streets. It's very hard to park and also to keep people out on the weekends and special events if it came down to that. Lighting in Isla Vista, it's very dark at night, and that's really a safety issue. That can be really hard, and there's a lot of bad things that happen from that. Also, a tenant mediation program that's in the bill. I mean, Isla Vista has such a low rate of vacancy, giving landlords just so much power, so much control. And there's a lot of good landlords, there's a lot of good rental agencies, but that would just be really good to help just stop problems, because like I said, there's just so many things in Isla Vista, just the quality of life, it's good, but it could be better. I guess that's what I had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. After Mr. Freeman, Jacob LaBelle, and would you come down and be ready to speak? Thank you. Mr. Freeman?
Hello, my name is Jay Freeman. I am a local business owner with an office in Isla Vista, the beloved census-designated place where I spend most of my time when I'm not on UCSB campus. I came here in 1999 to attend UCSB, and have been living in the same apartment complex 1 block north of Isla Vista ever since, but will finally be moving into IV come June. I first got involved in Isla Vista self-governance in 2003 when I wrote an opinion piece for the Daily Nexus. I've attended all but one AB3 stakeholder meeting, as well as every town hall, every self-governance conversation, and a number of meetings from third parties over the last 6 months. I'm the particular business owner listed as committing resources to the financial feasibility study, and I happen to support Isla Vista becoming an incorporated city. My question for the trustees: what exactly are you supporting? What is there even to support? AB3 is currently only a skeleton. It has a list of services, but it does not nail down how those services will be funded. It has a list of possible taxes that is essentially a list of all possible taxes people weren't incredibly angry about. There are no financial figures yet, or any idea how much will be required from these taxes. The group is only starting to come to any decisions related to board positions, and I will note that while UCSB has been given a dedicated spot and has been largely advocated to get a dedicated spot and has been considered to get a dedicated spot, SBCC is usually only brought into these conversations as an afterthought. Maybe most interestingly, there has been absolutely no consensus on the boundaries of the district. From an informal straw poll at a recent meeting, the #1 option was a large area that included UCSB, but more than half of the people voting chose one of the numerous options that did not include the majority of UCSB's campus. At this time, AB3 isn't something that you can decide upon in the abstract to either support or to not support. Many of us in Isla Vista are interested in AB3, and many of us are involved in the process, but that doesn't mean that we would support anything. All of us have levels of taxation or decisions on powers or boundaries that would be blockers. Now, if the board would like to state what they would like to see from the bill, that would be really interesting. A statement that they would be in support of AB3 if it satisfied certain conditions, and would likewise be against AB3 if it went so far in the other direction as to harm your interests. I can only speak for myself, but I would love to have the SBCC Board of Trustees involved in the conversation to decide what AB3 will become. But at this time, the resolution that has been put before you today leads to only one of two results. You either end up with an absurdity, where you decide to support something that does not yet exist and might go in a number of directions, or tautology, where you decide to assert something if and only if it is later shown, when finalized, to be beneficial to both SBCC and the Isla Vista community, a statement of support one could make about absolutely anything. Sadly, this is also a position that we've all been put in in the community by having the bill be sent up to the State Assembly. At some point, the bill is out of our hands, and decisions will be made far enough away from conversations that will be away from us in conversations in the Assembly that will be very difficult for any of us to attend. The position of SB LAFCO, which I currently agree with, is that local processes that specialize in the creation of special districts should be utilized when possible to guarantee the fiscal stability of this new entity. As it stands, at meetings this last week, Representative Das Williams went so far as to say that the legislative process doesn't actually consider the fiscal study to be part of their process, something that was concerning to many of us. I thereby also support, in general, the position, like all of what I've said so far, that thereby generally supports a position stated earlier by Pagin Sutar, that this board should consider putting together a study committee that could roll up its sleeves and really dig into this bill, along with all the rest of us. I would love to see members of the committee taking an official position, working with the AB3 stakeholders meetings, able to represent them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. LaBelle and Cameron Shink, you are next.
Hello, my name's Jacob LaBelle. I am a UCSB student and current director of the IVRPD, although that is not why I'm here. I'm also a former SBC City College student as well. And yeah, it's an honor to be back here before you all now. I grew up in Isla Vista. I've lived there pretty much my entire life. And that only recently, in the past 2 years, as I've been getting really involved in student and local government, have I had any idea really how to do anything or try and enact change in IV. The Parks District and associated students are both great resources and help out IV, but neither one has the authority and the real jurisdiction to be the lead for discussions on how IV should be governing itself. That we need to have an entity, a space in which we can discuss our own problems and have some ability to deal with them and take collective action. And that currently does not exist. And we also need an entity in which can negotiate with UCSB and the county and with you all as you get more involved, which I'm very, very happy about. That what has been so special to me about, and what gives me so much hope about AB3 is I have seen more community organizations, individuals, and groups coming together to discuss problems of IV, potentials with it, than I've ever known in my time in IV. And that this is incredibly inspiring to me. That, yeah, AB3 isn't really decided. Nothing is really known about it. But that we've been having great community meetings, coming together, sharing ideas, and yeah, we are more than willing, or we would very much look forward to you guys taking a much bigger role and giving us input on what you would like to see in it. And that, yeah, if it doesn't make sense financially or through any other numbers of reasons, I think most of us will oppose it. But that going forward, it would mean a lot to have your support, not to what we have now, but to the process we have going forward, to the need to create this space for dialogue and discussion and partnership with other organizations and entities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
My name is Cameron Shunk, and I'm the Associated Students External Vice President for Local Affairs with the University of California, Santa Barbara. As such, I'm speaking on behalf of all UCSB undergraduate students. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank you all for having me here today and giving me the chance to speak to you about such a critical issue to our community, one that I am very proud to call my home. It's most interesting to me that a lot of the folks who have stood here before you today and spoken come from a place of concern or fear. I too hold many concerns and many fears about my community, concerns and fears that I hope to address through dialogue with those around me. Your support at this critical time allows us to expand and bridge that dialogue. Many people have come before you today and noted a fear of not having a financial feasibility report. And I find it to be interestingly cyclical that part of the reason we don't have a financial feasibility report is because there's an apparent lack of support for some of the tenets of AB3. Exactly what we're here to ask for your support in today. By you pledging support for AB3, you pledge support to a process, and you pledge support to a community that has consistently felt as if their right to self-governance has been stripped from them. I think one of the speakers' desires to remove the title self-governance from the equation speaks really well to a lot of the frustrations we as a community have been feeling. We say self-governance because that's exactly what we do want. Of course, self-governance in my mind automatically encompasses good government because I trust my fellow Isla Vistans to do a good job of governing themselves. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, the time has come for lots of people to take stands on this issue. And I hope that with this issue in front of you today, you really take a step back and consider what it means to take a stance of support, or in an unfortunate case, take a stance of opposition and close a door on such an important process. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate everything you have done thus far.
Thank you, Mr. Schenk. Lexi, I'm sorry, I can't read the last name. Would you give us your last name when you come?
Hi, I'm Lexi Vallis. I am a current student here. I'm also a student advocate on the Student Senate. I am an active member in the Ivy Relations Ad Hoc within the Senate, and I'm an Ivy resident myself. So with my own experience and with extensive communication with students that I know, clearly what we have been doing or are doing in Isla Vista is not working. We know about the tragic events that have happened. I go out on weekends, I don't feel safe. My friend Ethan was up here earlier explaining how the sidewalks aren't even lit, things like that. That as a girl especially, I don't feel safe in Isla Vista, and something needs to be done. And I've heard the uncertainties expressed and the valid doubts that are presented, and I think we have sufficient info to know that this can offer nothing but improvement on the current situation. Lack of support from you guys would be really detrimental to our students because it would probably hinder the process, and then it's really unlikely that anything would be done soon to improve the situation. This isn't something that we want to do in like 10 years from now or like once we find things out. We want to do it soon to help our students. Our Ivy Relations Committee has submitted a statement of support, and we will continue to monitor the progress and inform our students. We want to be involved with it. As other people have said, it would be great if you guys were involved with the process, if you have any concerns. So on behalf of the students that I represent, I believe it's in the interest of the students. It promotes order and safety and enhances our learning environment. And I really would appreciate it if you guys support it as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Lexi. Doss Williams is next.
Oh,
right. I'm
Working
sorry,
in
I
the
didn't
back
see
is our
you. Yeah.
How can you be two places at once?
I was voting this morning in Sacramento, so usually if I rush and all the planes get on time, I can get here right about this time. So I really appreciate you having me. I think there's a couple principles here to support. One is letting the people decide. Only if AB3 is passed will Isla Vistans have the opportunity to vote, which they will have to approve by a 2/3 majority, any tax that they would assess on themselves in order to fund a community services district. Without AB3, Isla Vistans will not have that option, I would argue, probably ever. Because for the last 40 years, we have relied upon the LAFCO process to formulate a government or the right type of governance for Isla Vista. And arguably, it is self-apparent from the problems, not just the high-profile problems that we've seen in the last year of gang rapes, of riots, of murders, but the everyday tragedies that never get reported in the news. The sexual assaults, the burglaries, the people falling and tripping to their doom. These are the things that never get, or at least rarely get in the newspaper, but is even more a part of Isla Vistans' lives. And there's a reason why governance is a factor in this. And the two reasons are local control. Isla Vista is the only large student town that is not in an incorporated city. Think about the other ones. UCLA, incorporated city. Berkeley, incorporated city. Davis, incorporated city. What's the difference between an incorporated city and a county? A county is meant to govern rural, unincorporated areas. A city is meant to govern urbanized areas that need higher levels of service. Which do you feel, Isla Vista? Which category does Isla Vista fall into for you? Isla Vista is arguably the most dense population in a square mile west of the Mississippi, and it is, by all definitions, an urbanized population. And it leads to the other part. It's money. That's the difference. Is a county rarely has the ability to assess themselves of the revenue to take care of the higher level of public safety services that a place like Isla Vista requires. The feedback that we received from the Foot Patrol's lieutenant is that though the population of Isla Vista has risen by somewhere between 4,000 and 7,000, the same time the staffing levels have remained the same or actually decreased slightly. And so that the Foot Patrol, which was meant to be a proactive community service policing agency, has had to become more reactive from simply a lack of resources. The county does not feel that they would be able to successfully pass the kind of revenue source to address this in a larger fashion. And so it's up to Isla Vistans to decide for themselves and to assess that revenue themselves. And the process, a lot of people in Sacramento go, why would you have 33 meetings? Why would you want several hundred people to help you to write legislation? That's not normally how we do it. We write legislation, we give you guys a thumbs up or thumbs down, and people either support or oppose it. Instead, we have done the longer, more difficult process, but I think a good process of getting community input. That's why the detractors here can slam it for only having the details being added right now, because we have made sure that there is community support for each amendment that is going in the bill. I think we've detailed that for you individually, but I'll just remind you of them. Number one, the services, which the public process had basic unanimity for, which is the ability to contract for additional public safety services, a rental housing mediation body, a parking program, the lighting and sidewalks. Taxes was a large majority opinion, especially around a UUT and, if possible, adding a TOT and a sales tax authority. And the board makeup is more recent, but the group this last week voted to support a 7-member board, 5 directly elected, 2 appointed, 1 by UCSB and 1 by the county. And that provides a diversity of opinions that would ensure that homeowners, through the appointments, would be able to make sure that they had representation even though the majority of the voters are students in Isla Vista.
That was the notification that that your time is.
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any further questions, I'll stay on hand for questions from the board.
Thank you. Whatever the result of this, I must say you should be congratulated. You certainly have this community talking.
Yes. We're thankful that you attended some of the meetings.
Lanny, you're next, and then Tyler Gibson.
President Kugler, members of the board, Dr. Gaskin, my name is Lanny Ebenstein. There are few people who can say that they lived in Isla Vista in 1961, but I am one of them. I think that's even earlier than Professor Hasland. And it's something that since that time, a member of my family or myself have been involved either at UCSB or lived in Isla Vista for almost the entire period of time since that point. I myself am a graduate of UCSB, and I'm currently a lecturer there, and I'm a past lecturer at Santa Barbara City College. I think that Assembly Bill 3 merits the support of the Santa Barbara City College Board of Trustees. This past summer, in relation to other information that was being gathered, City College provided data on the number of City College students who subsequently enroll in UCSB. And between 2010-11 and 2012-13, 1,095 students transferred from Santa Barbara City College to UCSB. And that indicates that Santa Barbara City College is the leading partner institution of UCSB. And as someone who's been involved in government discussions in the Goleta Valley and in Isla Vista since the mid-1980s, this may be the best opportunity that we have to bring a greater form of community service district to the Isla Vista area. I think that one of the points in recent years about the Santa Barbara Community College District is that they're now districts. So it'd be very interesting to hear both Mr. Aboud's opinion on this issue as the representative from Isla Vista as to what his feelings are as to whether this is a resolution that should be approved by the board at this point in time. I've also had the opportunity to participate recently in the stakeholders meetings in Isla Vista, and there's a broad coalition of people who favor change, and I believe that the change is going to be an evolutionary process, but at the same time, I feel that Assembly Bill 3 is an essential part of that process, and that your endorsement of the process is something that would be beneficial to the students at Santa Barbara City College who live in Isla Vista and the students at Santa Barbara City College who will attend UCSB. So from both perspectives, it's something that I think that City College has a significant stake in the outcome of this legislation, and I would encourage you to endorse it. Clearly, there are strong feelings about this issue, and that's a good thing. But as I say, from having been involved in these issues for many years, I'm not sure if there's ever been as promising an opportunity as Assembly Bill 3 to create an improved municipal structure in Isla Vista. And for that reason, I hope that your board will vote to endorse the resolution in favor of it. Thank you very much.
All right. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tyler Gibson. I'm a student here at SBCC.
And I just wanted to add that he's our new student trustee for next year.
Yes.
Oh,
I look forward to
congratulations.
So we have to
We
say
look forward to working
congratulations.
with
And we love your shirt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have been in Santa Barbara for just over a year. This community has given me a lot. I attend church in Isla Vista, and from what I've heard, that's some comedy in that, and I don't see that, though. This speaks to the community that Isla Vista has shown me, friends that I have that live in this community. The massive voter registration drives in Isla Vista is just something that just blows me away personally. I just wanted to remind, I've heard a few things tonight. Everybody knows this. There's no such thing as a perfect bill. No such thing as a perfect government. If there was a perfect government at the founding of our country, there wouldn't be any debates right now, right? Nothing's perfect. But the people of IV want a government, even if it's something to start, something. Not good, not bad, label it whatever. We're talking about supporting a process to get to something, recognizing that it's not going to be perfect. People could list off 10 things favor, 10 things against. I just fear that that this board not taking a position or opposing this bill, I think we may be turning our backs on 3,500 students that live in Isla Vista, SBCC students, that are already feeling left out, already feeling marginalized. I urge support for this resolution. I think it's a good step in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe that finishes the public comments. Is that correct? Angie, thank you. All right. Ordinarily, as you know, I ask for a motion before we discuss things, but on this one, I would like to ask, I think, Dr. Gaskin and Jonathan to talk about this a little bit, and then we will go on. Lori, did you want to say something?
Yes, this is not on for action, it's on solely for discussion.
That's right.
I just wanted to clarify.
But ordinarily, I'd ask for motion just so we know what we're discussing. But I think in this case, we're going to go right ahead. Jonathan, would you speak first?
I have a presentation.
Fine.
Lori, should I stand up?
Yes, please. And you can use the...
The remote mic.
This is my first resolution I've brought to the board. It's exciting. And it's something that means a lot to my community. I've been involved in these efforts, just as full disclosure, since their nascent period in this current round. It's been a 45-year-old issue, so I'm not the first person to speak about this, but we've been speaking about this since the beginning of the 2013-2014 academic year when I served as Associated Students President. After, we all know, we've all heard about what has happened last year in Isla Vista, and as a result of all of it, the community came together looking for solutions, and self-governance was the solution that a lot of people coalesced around. Initially at the time, it was for, there's my slide. Initially at the time, it was for a community service district. As I'll explain later, that was found not to meet the full needs of Isla Vista. There was a very extensive community process, 2 town halls, countless meetings in the summer and the fall that prompted Assemblymember Dus Williams to introduce AB3. Okay, sorry, I have to switch on both computers. Isla Vista is 23,000 people, including the UCSB housing, and around 15,000 in the box. It's a very dense place. It's a very vibrant place. Like Das said earlier, it's one of the most dense unincorporated areas in the state, and this is not normal. Most unincorporated areas, almost all, fall under the jurisdiction of a city. We have no form of local representation that can speak for us. We have a parks board, but that's limited in scope legally in what it can address and what it can do. We don't have a group that can speak on behalf of Isla Vista, the same way Goleta has a group that can speak on behalf of it. We don't have the ability to make decisions for ourselves or set policy or choose where our funding is going to go. And many residents feel unsafe, or that their standard of living is below what it should be. If you look around Santa Barbara City, it's a very nice place because they have a city government, I think, is a large part to it. Isla Vista doesn't have a government whose number one priority is Isla Vista. And therefore, our residents also don't have a space where they can go to address their issues. The County Board of Supervisors, we have one rep on there, and we are only 25% of her constituency. She does a good job, but she can't do the job that the Goleta City Council does for Goleta, Santa Barbara City Council does for Santa Barbara. So why self-governance? First of all, local control over local taxes and services, which is the point of all local government. Oh, okay. Thank you, Lori. It frees Santa Barbara County of the time and effort it pours into Isla Vista every year. Isla Vista is a big job to address, and like Doss said earlier as well, counties are not designed to run a place like Isla Vista or to help govern a place like Isla Vista. Residents will have a vehicle to effect change in Isla Vista. We can decide how we're going to address the issues in Isla Vista. Right now, there is no central organization or entity where we can do that. The Associated Students does a good job, the Parks Board does a good job, but they are limited. Associated Students only represents 9,000 people who live in IV out of 15,000 in the box. They can't do the full job, and it's not their duty. And it ensures long-term investment and attention for Isla Vista. In terms of the options explored before AB3, cityhood is potentially too costly. We don't know yet, but it would meet all the needs of Isla Vista. However, cities have a lot of federal and state mandates that we may or may not be able to afford. A general CSD is good, and that was the first option, but as the needs of Isla Vista residents were apparent and which ones were the priorities, a general CSD doesn't meet those. A municipal advisory council is a way for unincorporated areas in California to advise their county governments, but those, and we had one in Isla Vista from 1970 to 1983, but those are limited and they don't have any independence. They're reliant on the county. The old IV MAC lost its funding in 1983 because UCSB and the county got tired of it. So it wouldn't give us independence. So the last one is a special act CSD. It was a recommendation by the UCSB Trustees Committee on Isla Vista Strategies. We got the report at my first BIRD meeting in December, and many community members, and it took the form of AB3. So why AB3 as opposed to something else? Why do we need this? It gives Isla Vista the opportunity to fund services for itself. Also, in specificity, why a general CSD doesn't work, a tenant mediation program and a parking program. A regular CSD can't do that. If we applied to LAFCO tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to have those programs that we want. AB3 can create a special act that sets up a special CSD that can do that. And it's been done before. It allows taxes that are better suited for IV that a general CSD can't do. A regular CSD can only do, and most special districts can only do property-based taxes, so parcel taxes. This act, if the California state legislature chooses to give this CSD the power, it could do a utilities users tax or a sales tax. It's not traditional, but the state has ultimate authority. And it gives the unique board makeup. We don't have a finalized board structure yet, but we do also need different residency requirements potentially, or different term lengths beyond just a 5-member, 4-year term board. Lastly, community input. Das touched this well as well. 5 Isla Vista town halls, 3 were about AB3 past couple months, and 2 were in the summer. There's a weekly AB3 meeting, and there were twice a week in January and February. It's endorsed by both student associations that represent almost every resident in Isla Vista, and there have been dozens of others assorted meetings. So this has been a very community-inclusive process. And I will be the first to say that it's not perfect, but it's the first step.
Thank you, Jonathan. Dr. Gaskin, would you like to make a comment, or do you want us to go ahead with the discussion?
I would ask that you go ahead with the discussion.
All right. Before we begin, I just want to mention, because no one else has mentioned, I have had the privilege over the course of the last year to sit in on the homeowners task force meetings. And that group of homeowners all live in Isla Vista and own homes in Isla Vista. That group last week indicated through a show of hands that all but one member of the group were uncomfortable and opposed to AB 3 as it currently exists. One person abstained. Now, that is not an official report. I am not an official member of that group, and it was not an official vote. It was an indication of concern. I am only mentioning this because several times people have said there was no one opposed, and I know that is not quite accurate. My own feeling about this is that Isla Vista must have a structure. I completely agree with Jonathan and with several of the people who spoke that Isla Vista cannot continue not to have a formal structure. I understand that in the past, LAFCO has not been responsive to or helpful for that structure. I also understand that many people now feel, many residents now feel that that has changed and that in fact they are a useful part of a potential future structure for Isla Vista. As someone who does not live there, but who has been through this in many different places, I must say that I'm enormously impressed by the amount of discussion that has occurred and will have to occur in the future. Marcia, do you have something you'd like to say?
Well, this, I think, it should be perhaps mentioned again, it has been mentioned, that this was noticed for discussion. It was not noticed for action. So it also did not include information that I would normally expect if we were going to take action on it, like a copy of the bill, a copy of the statutes that set the context for the bill, perhaps some background reports and so forth. And so if you came to this meeting expecting us to take action, I'm sorry for that perhaps misunderstanding, but that's, as I understand it, where we are. I did hear a tremendous amount of support, I think, from all sides for the discussion and for the energy that people are putting into that discussion and for the progress that is being made through those discussions. And I certainly support that. I think we're all looking, and Dr. Gaskin talked about a number of things that SBCC is already doing. We're looking to support that discussion. We're looking to support the small and incremental steps that change the culture at IV, that make a difference at IV. AB 3, as I look at it, and I tried to do some homework on it, is a work in progress. It's not there yet. It's still part of that discussion. And I don't know where it will come out, but for me to feel like I could support it, I need to know where it's going to come out. I really need to understand what it's going to say and what kind of support it has from all the elements of the community. The existing process in the law, as I read it, as I understand it from reading it, is that a community service district like this could be formed if there were a petition from the voters. It's not clear to me why that isn't an option. It also could be formed through, this is an application process, it goes to LAFCO, et cetera, and the vetting that was mentioned earlier, but it starts the process at the local level. So to me, I worry about a process that comes from Sacramento down and says you will do this, as opposed from the voters up. And the other option is a resolution, I believe, by the County Board of Supervisors. Either of those options, it's not clear to me why those aren't good options. And I also read the report of the trustees, UCSB. They obviously put in a tremendous amount of work, and we should all be very appreciative of that. But the reasons given for why we need to do it in legislation did not compel me to see why this bottoms-up local residents, local homeowners, pushing the process forward from the bottom is not a better option, rather than Sacramento saying, this is how you're going to be a district. And I'm wondering, and I can ask you a question. Yeah, I know. I can ask you a question, Das, and I know you're going to want to respond. One of them is, are there any other examples where Sacramento has done this? Because it feels to me a little bit like one thing we're familiar with, which is unfunded mandates. You know, you shall do this, but we're not giving you the money to do it. You have to pay for it.
Das, I'm sorry, but this is not a debate at this point.
I do have a question, the question being, are there other examples where Sacramento has mandated a district, and did they provide funding for it?
There are other examples. In fact, the legislature passed one last year that was a water district in San Luis Obispo County.
1 minute.
I thought you also had a question about the application process. The reason why those applications through the LAFCO process were not pursued is because through the normal LAFCO process, you are tied to property-based taxes, which inherently pits renters against homeowners and landlords against the majority of students. And that has been toxic. That has hurt cityhood attempts in the past. And that is why the majority rallied around a UUT. To do a UUT requires an act of the legislature.
Stop
and
there.
I'll just say the act of the legislature established the LAFCO process. It is us essentially allowing a body to do work for us. I think in those cases, when that work is not done, we also have the power to do it ourselves.
Okay, stop there. I think if this group agrees that we need to refer this to a discussion session where we can really have a serious discussion about this and also read the reports of the groups that have studied it. It doesn't sound to me like we are ready to vote. Do you have something you'd like to say, Marnie?
I do. I just wanted to thank everybody because it's a large group of people, and so many of these people are working very hard on this.
Yes.
The first homeowner, and I've forgotten her name, oh no, Pagine? Yeah. What, 33 years or something like that of coming to meetings and so on. You know, it's amazing to me. Democracy does take a lot of work. And Jeff Morehouse too, and working on LAFCO. It's amazing to me that these people are working so hard, but I think it's wonderful. So, and honestly, I truly believe that I'm somewhat of a practical politician in some ways. I think that without AB3, we probably wouldn't have that opportunity. I was the one that answered the grand jury report in 2006, I think it was. Maybe it was 2003, you're saying, because I was mayor at the time. And it just seemed to me that we didn't have the momentum or anything. But the momentum, I think, to do something is there now. And part of it is being pushed by a state bill. You know, there's that AB3 sitting there, and we better do something or they're going to vote. But the truth is, it takes a lot of work, and you're going to have to figure out fiscal, information and all of that. And I think that the best thing for the Board of Trustees to do, and this is just my opinion, but the best thing we could do right now is to try to keep up on it, and the best way for us to keep up on it is through our, and I've forgotten, are you District 1 or, I'm District 7, I forget. 6, okay. Well, we're now in districts, so I'm the Mesa, and I don't think Isla Vista wants to hear from the Mesa. But they probably want to hear from Jonathan, who's been working very hard on this, and Jonathan Abud is our trustee from that district. So I would hope that we would get reports back, and we did a good report today, that was good, on this, because it's not that we're not interested, it's that we need reports back here and there. And also to have Lori, we're also represented by Lori on the IV Safe, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And pledging some fiscal, information there, so actually some money. So I think we are well represented, but I really believe that we should be getting reports back often on this. And I think it's an exciting time. And I think that from my point of view, we should be supporting the work of these folks, both at LAFCO and in the Isla Vista community and what they're trying to do here. I think it's wonderful. Hopefully they'll be able to come up with something so that people feel safe and feel like they can pick up their phone and call their council member, because that's a great kind of work in the United States. Local councils and local cities are just fantastic, so hopefully that'll happen. So that's where I am on it. I don't think it would be productive, and I could be wrong on this. You won't be shy in letting me know how wrong I am. But I don't think it would be productive for us to have a separate study of this, and then these folks not only would have to go to their own meetings, they would have to come to ours. Honestly, what are we trying to do? It seems like we're trying to put another layer of meetings on them, and I just don't think that's necessary, because we have a public purpose to support our students.
So what are we asking for? Lori? Oh, excuse me.
No, let me just finish this, that I think our board's mission is for student success. And our students have to feel safe where they live. They have to feel like they can call people. They have to feel like they can park their cars. And we have two good representatives here, in Lori and in Jonathan. So that's where I am with this. But I also support the idea of putting AB 3 through so that at least we can force the discussion in some way or another.
Lori has her hand up, and Peter has his hand up.
Well, it would be my recommendation to the board, just as we did with the Neighborhood Task Force, that we allow the Fund for Santa Barbara to collaborate through stakeholder involvement in providing for a study, a feasibility study. That would then give you something of a significant substance to begin to dialogue about. Certainly this has been presented with a lot of information, but that would allow for a very informed discussion.
Thank you. Peter?
Well, as someone who's been involved with Isla Vista for a long time, I served on the Chancellor's Commission on Isla Vista many years ago. I can certainly attest to the fact that this is not a new problem. It seems impervious to best intentions alone. And I can understand why proponents of AB3 may feel impatient. It's time to do something, not just to study something. I therefore want to commend Jonathan and Das and everybody who's working on this. And I mean, it's not a finished product, and therefore I agree with my colleagues on the board that the reason, Marty, for studying it is to come to grips with some of the issues that would trouble us in casting an affirmative or any other kind of a vote. So I find myself in that position that President Truman once referred to as a search for a one-armed economist, somebody who would not say, well, on the other hand, do this. But there are two sides to this, and I don't understand the background of why LAFCO has not been supportive of efforts to actually deal with Isla Vista in terms of its requirement for self-governance. I just don't get that. And that's an answer I'd like to find out. in the deliberations as we go forward. But I mean, in concept, I certainly favor the approach. I'm reluctant to move any further than that until I really know more.
Thank you. Craig? And, oh, Nicholas, and then Craig.
Thank you. As a student, I've been a student since 2009, so I've seen a number of issues, particularly pertaining to Isla Vista, and especially within the last 2.5 years of serving in student government, not only locally but on the state level. Things that have been going on there that are very alarming, and I think that we've heard a number of students tonight talking about them as far as the public safety is number one on my radar. I know the old adage, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it seems to be the same case with Isla Vista. We've got a big discussion that needs to be had. Being fiscally conservative, I understand the approach, where is the money going to come from? I do think that needs to be addressed more in depth, but I like to see, in a sense, I look at this as the state lighting a fire under our keisters, for a lack of a better term. I look at it as over the past, 45 years that this has been an issue, we have not been at this level of talking, at least that I know of. I'm not from those days, but it seems to me it's exciting now that we actually are taking this into consideration, that we are having these discussions, that people are so passionate about that, and that, change will come from this one way or the other, hopefully. So as far as my capacity as a student, I support having this happen, expeditedly, but as a member and a taxpayer in this county, I feel that there needs to be more discussion. So I would hope that the board would entertain that happening, more discussion. So I don't know, point of information, when does this bill need to move to the Senate?
Hearing's been marked for next week. Though if the board decides to take a stand at a later time, it will still inform the floor vote in the Assembly. It will go to the Senate in the summer, and it is our intention to get the financial feasibility study done before it passes through the Senate.
Thank you, Dawes. Craig?
Yeah, I can't add a lot to the brilliant comments that my peers here have, or betters possibly, that have made. But having not lived in Isla Vista since, when last time, 1963, I've watched Isla Vista change and morph and grow. It's now more densely populated than it ever has been. There's never been like any kind of central governments there. Isla Vista's been a very positive environment, I think, because awful lot of the population is working on their future and they're anticipating good things coming, but it's incubated companies, small businesses that have become national. Kinko's is one. Started off with one copy machine in a little hole out there. I know where it still is because I was there. And you can go on, and I could give you more examples. The more the population gets really dense, and then you need more rules and more regulations so everybody can be happy. This is a universal thing. But you have some really, really unusual demographics out there. You have, and it's kind of mixed in a way. We have low-income housing out there. We got all these students. We have homeowners. You have a real mix of things going on. And then you have this high percentage of the population is transient. They may only be there for a couple of years. And what kind of governments, if you have a process that takes years to set up to get it going, how are you going to get it going? Because every time you get it about ready to go, those people are gone and a new group's in, and it's a continuous process, which is probably one of the reasons why all the earlier attempts have failed. I recall, but not details of Goleta really not wanting to absorb Isla Vista or to encompass it, or the city of Santa Barbara really wanting to encompass Isla Vista. They sort of didn't want the burden. It was just my take. That's probably incorrect. I think, yeah, and I don't like the unfunded mandate idea of this. Who's going to pay for this? Because there's certain basic costs that will have to be met from somewhere. However, if to do nothing because it's unknown and that it may not work, it's like saying, well, we won't do nothing, it'll get better by itself, and we all know that's inane and it can't happen. So we need to do something, and what this bill's done, if it's done nothing more, it's been fantastic, because what it's done is got everybody talking again. And it's going to take some unique unique trains of thought to really put a unique government systems together, because I don't think there's a specific form of government out there that can do what Isla Vista needs. It needs something unique because it is so unique. How would I vote tonight? I'm not really sure. I've been wrestling with this for a while now and reading what I could get my hands on, and I don't know. But I'm really, really pleased to see everybody so concerned and involved, and I really hope that progress can be made at this time. And I don't know how we're going to vote yet, because we're not tonight. We're not going to vote tonight, and I don't know how we're going to vote when we do get more information. But the process to get there and to improve it, something needs to be done, because we can't leave it, or it should not be left. I said, we can't leave it the way it is. It's got to change for the better.
That raises a procedural question,
Yes.
Madam President. Are we thinking in terms of creating a study session where we can talk about this? Or-
Well, this comes under, on our agenda, items for future board consideration. The assumption is that one way or another, we will discuss it again. If it is this board's wish to have a discussion session, as we do have every month, that is one way to do it. Another way would be to simply ask for materials, make sure we've read them all, and then come back to this kind of discussion. It's up to the board what they would prefer in this. That's a good question. Jonathan, you look like you have a...
Yeah, I have just a couple points. I know we're wrapping up, but I just have a couple more points just to clear up. The first is, Craig, when you said Isla Vista has gotten more dense than it ever has before, that's because landlords lobbied the county to zone us in a way that's unique, that we had no choice over how we were zoned.
That's true.
I mean, that's ridiculous to me, and that's one of the main reasons why I think we need AB3. The second is, AB3 is not an unfunded mandate. It's something that we want. Sacramento is not doing this. Sacramento is passing the bill, but we asked Sacramento to take up the bill. The bill wouldn't exist without Isla Vista asking for it to exist. We're going to pay the taxes. We're going to choose what the taxes are going to be. Sacramento's not going to do that. We're going to do it for ourselves, just like Santa Barbara and Goleta do. The voters want a tax measure, they pass it or they don't pass it. That's what we would be doing as well. So it's not an underfunded mandate, it's let's fund what we want to fund. Let's fund the level of services that we want. That's actually the basic purpose of a CSE, is to give communities the level of government they desire, not the full scope of government like a city would be. Last would be, AB3 is a process, and it's not really our place as a board to take a stance on the nitty-gritties of AB3. Whether or not the residents want a board with X structure or Y structure isn't really our problem. Our problem is whether or not there should be something like AB3 in Isla Vista, whether or not the community has come together adequately to decide on this. I don't think we should, I think maybe we should wait. If no one's ready to vote, then I don't want to ask everybody to vote tonight. But we shouldn't be holding off until the last minute to say yes or no on this bill, because then it defeats the purpose of us taking a stance. Our stance would be, we think Isla Vista should have self-governance, and we think they should have it the way they want it. Isla Vista doesn't tell Santa Barbara how to run itself. So I mean, I'm not saying we're Santa Barbara, but we shouldn't be taking stances on the details of the bill. We should be taking stances on whether or not the residents of the residents of Isla Vista should have this or not. And most of us think we do.
Thank you, Jonathan. We will schedule a session to discuss this specifically and make sure that you have all the materials that are available at that time to review, if you wish to review them. And Jonathan, come prepared.
Oh, yeah.
Craig has a question.
Craig, did you have a question?
Well, it won't take very long, but, you know, if I was just thinking, if we were to endorse this, it just says that the city college is endorsing it, but we can't really form it. We don't live there. You know, I don't see how us endorsing it or not endorsing it is going to change, in the end, what the citizens of Isla Vista want. We, as a group, it's obvious we spent all this time on it, we want something to improve. It's just a matter of what and how. And we want it to happen as soon as possible. So that's my point, is what does it really mean that we endorse it? Because we don't vote tonight doesn't mean we don't want the change, and it doesn't mean we want to kill the bill. It just means we want to learn more and see if we can't give you some help. And we don't know enough yet. I don't know.
Could I answer that question?
Yeah.
Our interest here is doing what we can to create a safer environment for our students in Isla Vista.
Yeah.
Jonathan is perfectly right.
I agree.
They're going to create whatever structure they feel they need. If we can guide it in some way, cool. But our interest, and I think we need to keep that in mind, our interest has to do with the safety of our students.
So, Marcia?
I was just going to ask if, when we have our study session, we could also hear perhaps from the Fund for Santa Barbara about their plans and what that pathway is, because I think there are a lot of moving parts here. It isn't just this bill, and I'd like to get a bigger picture of all, or as many of those moving parts as possible.
Good.
Thank you. Marty?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Jonathan. I think supporting the work of the Isla Vista community to form good government is what it's all about. And I don't know, is it possible that we could take a vote right now? I know it's on for discussion, but in a different way, just to say that we support a motion to support the efforts to have good government representation in Isla Vista. I don't know, that's sort of inelegantly.
Are you
I just
proposing
wanted
that
to,
as a motion?
I am.
Procedurally, I don't see how we can do something that's not noticed.
Because
No, because it's on the, I mean.
For discussion.
Okay. That's so frustrating to me, that anything that says it's for discussion, that means that we can't, in that discussion, make a motion for anything. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's what the difference between motion, or notice for action versus notice for discussion is.
And, okay, well, I'm not going to argue with
I
it
mean, we
right
can
in
ask
front of you,
Lori
but I
to
don't think
ask
that's.
Craig, that's certainly.
Okay, I just feel like we need to support the work of the Isla Vista community to come up with a safer place for our students.
I think everyone here supports.
Well, there you
I
go.
think
We
like-
just voted then.
No,
Why
I
don't we
think
just vote
everyone
on
in
that?
the room supports that.
So Jonathan put it in the right words, I think.
I know, and I
It's
didn't.
interesting.
So,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think we're violating anything in Robert's Rules of Order or in procedure if we take a consensus, but taking a direct vote on this issue, no bueno, in my opinion. But I agree with what the spirit of the bill is trying to get at. How they're going to do it, I do not want to vote on, but I am encouraging these talks. I am encouraging this process moving forward, personally.
Me too.
I hear that agreed to by everybody. That is, it's very clear that this group cares about our students in Isla Vista and Isla Vista as a whole, and that we hope there will be the development of a structure that meets the needs of that community and of our students. and that we will have a discussion about this with more information. I know there are reports floating around that we have not seen, and new reports being prepared as of the moment that we are speaking. So let's plan on having a serious discussion in a couple of weeks. And remember that in a couple of weeks, depending on how it's put on the agenda, it would be possible for us to vote if we decide to. Because we do vote at study sessions. Right? Are we? Yes, if it's agendized that way, if we feel we're ready. All right, are we closing on this discussion? Thank you very much. It's been a very important discussion. And thank those of you who contributed to this discussion and who are working so hard on this work. Now, Pat, you are next.
The exciting stuff is just starting.
I notice we're losing our audience.
Yes, we are.
Do I gather that you all are not interested in the basic work of the board right now?
I don't blame them. It's time for
All right. I would ask you to discuss this outside, please, so that we can continue.
Point of privilege?
And thank you very much for coming.
Point of privilege. May I use the restroom quickly?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Do I wait for Nick, or do I get to?
No.
No.
We still down. There goes Peter. Okay, I'll go really fast. I'm here to present the consent agenda items for human resources, items number 9.1, 2, 3, and 4. I do have one change before I can submit the whole package to you. On 9.1, you have one item under classified appointment that is to be announced. I am announcing that Matt, M-A-T-T, Lorden, L-O-R-D-E-N, has been selected to be our new payroll technician. He will be coming in on step 6 of level 25, and he will be joining us on April 28th. With that addition to the consent agenda, I can submit all 4 of these items to you at one time.
Thank you.
I move approval.
Second.
All right.
Thank you.
We need to vote.
Do we want to wait, or do
Should we vote?
Yep.
Yeah. All in favor?
All right. I was waiting for Nicholas, but okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next.
So,
Thank you, Jack.
sure, I'm here, for Kim, because Kim's is at that workshop today. So I recommend approval of our new courses and course modifications. This is item 10.1.
Move approval?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 10.2, these are the new courses for the Center for Lifelong Learning. These are the fee-based courses. I'm recommending approval.
Thank you. All in favor? Oh,
Oh, we're gonna
Craig,
vote
do you
already?
have a question?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Wait a minute.
Oh, we have a motion.
We didn't move
I was gonna-
approval.
I'm trying to move
you.
this meeting
Second.
along, you guys. Motion, please.
I move approval
Second.
of these very interesting courses.
Always. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, in the interest of time, I didn't comment on some of those courses. Item 10.3, recommending approval of stipends for faculty.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Opposed? No. All right,
okay, thank you.
all right. Mr. Sullivan?
Good evening. Am I there? There I am. First, I wanted to, I know I have a couple of agenda items here, but first I wanted to pass on my support for the Classified Employee of the Year and for all the people who were honored this evening. I think that it's a wonderful thing that we do every year, and for me, it just reinforces the fact that we have such a wonderful staff here, and they work so hard. It's just good to see them recognized. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I would like to pass on the consent agenda for you, items 11.1 through 11.10.
We get to move for approval?
Yeah.
Excellent. I so move.
Second.
Is there any question or discussion? That's a big package there. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And we can take resolution 12.1, item 12.1, resolution number 41, the augmentation of revenue, and resolution number 42, the budget transfers between major objects together.
Move approval.
Second.
Trustee Nielsen?
Aye.
Trustee Abud?
Aye.
Trustee Croninger?
Aye.
Trustee Haslam?
Aye.
Trustee Kugler?
Aye.
Trustee Bloom?
Aye.
Student Trustee Style?
Aye.
Okay, and then I'm going to be pulling item 12.3, the resolution, which is resolution number 43, which is the notice of impending development for the West Campus Classroom and Office Building Project from the agenda. And I want to talk about it just a little bit very briefly as to why I'm doing that. The staff at the Coastal Commission is recommending changes to the TDMP measures. This is primarily with monitoring requirements. They're looking at what metrics to use to actually measure it accurately and get the reporting back so that they can determine we're acting appropriately on the actions. They've agreed to approve the measures after the approval of the NOID in the May meeting. So they will approve the NOID. It'll be subject to the board then subsequently accepting their changes to the measure in our next meeting. So that's what will happen. They did agree to that. So that's very important because that's their choice. And I wanted to say that currently, and I say that currently, but there are no changes that have any fiscal impact whatsoever. They really are just putting in percentages and numbers and getting comfortable with how we're looking at monitoring what we're trying to do. So any questions?
Are you comfortable with this approach?
I am. I think that it's the best we can do right now. It's a constant ongoing process, and I really thought we were closer than we were, but it does go up for review, and as it goes up through the levels of review with the staff at the Coastal Commission, it seems everybody wants to add one more thing or two more things. But what they're adding is actually some of it's very good in that it will provide solid metrics that we can be measured by, that they'll be accepting of. So from that perspective, it's good.
And this modification is being required by the highest levels of leadership at the Coastal Commission. So yes, we're comfortable.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Then we have information technology. No report? All right, fine. We are now going to go into closed session. We will report out at the end of that session.
It's going to be a long one.